What's up, everybody? Back after a Hail Mary loser of the Chicago Bears to the Washington Commanders. Bears go to Washington, Jack. Essentially, their offense doesn't do anything the first half, has an okay second half, performs in critical situations outside of the very, not even questionable, very egregious terrible play call of the handing the ball to Doug Kramer on the goal line. Other than that, the offense has a pretty solid second half, I'd say. Does well in critical situations. Defense has a great game, minus the last play. And somehow, some way, the Bears find a way to lose under Matt Eberflus yet again in the last seconds of a game. Bears lose 18-15. They do keep the streak alive of less than 21 points allowed per game. Honestly, that's what kept them in this game too. The first half, the offense was non-existent, and the defense they let up quite a bit of yards, but they just held them to field goals. I think it was like either 9-0 or 12-0 at half. So they did their job that way, I guess. But it's just completely disheartening and frustrating. Not only the loss and the manner of way it happened, but also the response from the coaching staff has um, made me realize that I was wrong with giving them another chance mentally this year. This coaching staff doesn't have what it takes to take a team to the next level. It's sad, but it's the reality. Jack, where's your head at after last week's loss? Anything positive you could take at all, or is it just all negative?
Extremely frustrating. Starting kind of right where you left off. Was very vocal about the fact that I thought they needed to move on from the coaching staff in this offseason. I was anti Justin Fields, and I said, if you're moving on from Justin Fields, you have to get a new coach. It's just this cycle that the Bears continue to go through with this bullshit. I don't know if it's cowardice by Ryan Poles thinking, well, I extend my own tenure if I ride this coach out a little longer because then, well, I got my quarterback, but now I got my coach with my quarterback. I don't know what the thinking. I don't know how you possibly justify it from a front office perspective about keeping a lame duck coach who now has lost 4 games where the Bears had over a 95% win probability late in the fourth quarter. And you lost all 4 of them. Just inexcusable. It's impossible to comprehend how you could lose one of them, let alone 4 of them. This one hurts the most because it's such a swing game for the postseason. We don't need to get in to the particulars of all the madness surrounding it. Everyone knows what happens. Everyone's heard about it, talked about it for the past week. It's just so infuriating. I was just, I don't even think I said anything when it happened. I was just frozen, staring at the screen. They're in a situation now where the Eagles are playing well. The Commanders are now 6-2, which the Bears should have been. They're going to end up in a situation where they're 10-6 if they play well enough, and the Commanders are 10-6, and Bears are going to be on the outside looking in because of the stupidity of the way that that game unfolded. Um, I guess the only positive, without going down a rabbit hole of just ranting about this fucking game forever, is that Caleb Williams, as poor as him and the offense looked early on in the game and for the majority of it, the last 3 drives were, the Kramer fumble outstanding, were 3 touchdown drives straight down the field. Uh, did it when it mattered. One of your keys was Caleb Williams was going to have to do something clutch. You said, it doesn't necessarily mean at the end of the game. It could be any time he's going to have to come up and make the plays, make a game-winning type of drive. He did it twice, back to back. He made some incredible plays on that drive to go down and score the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to go ahead by 3, leading to that Hail Mary. But That's the positive. He seems like a guy who can overcome not playing his best and sort of still rise to the necessary level of competition to get it done. He doesn't seem phased. He seems like he might sort of have that clutch. I'm not gonna roll over. I'm gonna find a way to go get it done. Which is what we've never really had. Even when Cutler was as talented as he was, he never really seemed to have that edge late in games. Maybe Caleb's got it, and that's the one positive you could really take away.
Yeah, that's really the only positive I have too. I guess you could say like defense, despite being a banged up secondary, is still finding a way to force field goals. And I guess you could say like DeAndre Swift had himself another pretty good game, but um, coaching staff major questions, and it just sucks. Like you said, even if they play great the rest of the way, losing a game like that makes it really tough for the playoff scenarios. That being said, we move on. I guess we move on to Arizona this week. Kyler Murray presents some of the same challenges that Jaden Daniels presents with his mobility, which proved to be a tough thing for the Bears defense to deal with. Um, they go to Arizona. They're 1.5 point dogs. Um, and this week, there's been a lot of questioning of the coaching staff publicly from the players. So it's kind of one of those scenarios where it's, does this team rally together and find a way to stick together, or does it blow up? I don't really see too much of a happy medium. Maybe I'm just getting lost in the storylines, but that's kind of what I'm seeing happening. Bears go to Arizona, 1.5 point dogs. Arizona not playing great football, but they're no punk team either. I think they're like 4-4, 3-4, something like that. Um, Relatively tough team. They got some weapons. They got Trey McBride. They got Marvin Harrison Jr. They got a young and up and coming coach in Gannon. Um, it's a game I'm actually kind of curious to watch from just a fan perspective, not only to see how your team responds after a heartbreaking loss, but from a general football fan perspective. I don't get to watch a lot of Arizona football. I don't watch a lot of Cardinals football, so I'm curious to see what they're all about. Um, Jack, anything you got your eyes on as we head into this game, the week, this week in this game?
It's a must win.
Yeah, the
I
next 2 weeks
look to
are.
yeah, I look to
Yeah,
see, like I mentioned about if you get to 10 and I mean to get to 10 and 6, now you got to go 6 and 4. Um and that's or excuse me, 10 and 7 forgetting the extra game. You got to go 6 and 4 to get to 10 and 7. Um Yeah, that's playing pretty damn good football to get to 6 and 4. And realistically, to get into the playoffs, in my mind, you got to go 7 and 3
yeah,
because I don't see a path at 10 wins. So you got to get to 11 now, given the tiebreaker and the situation with losing to Washington. I think it's 11 wins or bust. I don't see any path to 11 wins unless you don't get two these next 2 weeks
got to win these
against
next two.
Arizona.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, you got, I look to see, I'm curious how they bounce back. They've been, when the Bears lose locally, it's a huge thing. Everyone talks about it. Everyone, analyzes every little detail, picks apart all the ins and outs. This was one of the few weeks where the Bears was the leading national story day in and day out. They're getting embarrassed. Tyreek Stevens getting lambasted on every show. They have like a little clock, counting how much he wasn't looking at the ball, and they're the laughing stock. Eberflus is getting punked. Everyone's just getting dragged. How are you going to bounce back? Are you guys, obviously we heard a little of the stuff going on in house where people kind of question the situation, the leadership, what's going on behind closed doors. Cole Kmet had some cryptic comments, like there might be some shit going on behind the scenes that he wasn't so surprised by some of the behavior that transpired on the field on Sunday because of that. I don't know what it means, but I do know that if there's anything positive going on or that could be gleaned from this going forward, is you band together, get a us against the world mentality. And you come out and fight, man, because your life is on the line tomorrow afternoon down in Arizona. 3-17 on the road under Eberflus. Never won a road game on a Sunday under Eberflus. It's sick all around, and you have to find a way to go get it done and change the fortunes of your season. I think you're back in a really good spot if you take care of business tomorrow, but that is no small task.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You say it perfectly. Backs against the wall. Got to win these next two games to even feel like you got a shot the rest of the way. I'm with you. I'm with you there. Did you come up with three keys to a Bears victory this week? Assuming that uh, that happens, what are three things that you see happening?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always a path, baby. Always a path, no matter how grim it seemed after the way things closed out. Arizona's been a friendly place to Chicago. It's probably not going to be too much of a hostile environment. I wouldn't be surprised if it seems like a little bit of a Bears crowd down in Arizona. There's a lot of transplants who live down there from the Chicago area. I'm sure a lot of people, it's a game that a lot of people travel to. If I'm not mistaken, the Bears have had pretty solid success at Arizona the last handful of times that they've been on the road down there. So they got to keep it going. They can certainly get it done despite their hideous road record as of late. This is one where they can turn it. I hope that they do. And I think one of the keys is going to be a fast start. I know it's about the way you close the game. The Bears had plenty of fast starts under Justin Fields and the way that Luke Getzey was scripting plays early on. They would score, it seemed like, almost every first drive, and then it would never matter at the end of the game. But this Bears team has done nothing, absolutely nothing in first quarters. That trend has continued even in the weeks that they have played well. You got it. The way that game ended, I think it's of the utmost importance to come out with a good start this week because you got to start feeling good about yourselves. Can't be down in the dumps, get off to a slow start, be like, oh shit, here we go again. Come out firing, show them that game has really, hurt you guys and you're just been dying to get back out on the field, go hit somebody and find a way to win a football game. Get out to that fast start and never look back.
A fast start would be something, Jack. 0 points in the first half last week. This year in the first quarter, they've scored, I think, like a total of 3 points. They've been really bad in the first quarter. They've been a little bit better in the second, but in general, not great in the first half. Um, if you want to make things a little easier on yourself in the second half, let's start a little bit better. And to your point, after heartbreak like last week and just such a letdown, when you think you had this great comeback win to lose it on a Hail Mary, it'd be nice to have a good start this week to kind of get things moving in the right direction. So I like where your head's at.
Key number two. I don't know if it bears out if you look at the stats, the targets, what a spray chart, whatever the hell you want to look at. It seems like last week and in other weeks earlier in the season when the Bears offense looked like dog shit, it seemed like for whatever reason, Gerald Everett was featured more than Cole Kmet. I don't know if that's script. I don't know if that's Caleb just going through his reads and thinking Everett's open. I can't explain it. But Cole Kmet needs to be featured. It seems like when Cole Kmet is featured in this offense, they move the ball, things look better. They convert third downs. They keep drives going. It just seems like the whole offense flows a lot smoother when Cole Kmet is featured, when he's part of it, when he's getting his looks, he's getting his touches. I don't really know how to explain it or if that's even true necessarily outside of just what I'm sitting at home watching and the way that it feels. But I honestly think a key is featuring Cole Kmet. He's a good tight end. I truly believe that. Use him in your offense. Use the fucking guy. I think that's a huge key to have success this weekend.
It's one of my biggest frustrations with this offense, man. I couldn't agree anymore. Cole Kmet, whether or not people believe it, in my opinion, Cole Kmet's like a top 8 tight end in the league, top 10 tight end in the league. I know he's not like a burner. I'm not trying to say he is, but he's a very solid all around tight end and could be an absolute security blanket for Caleb Williams. Gerald Everett doesn't have it anymore. He looks slow out there. Also, side note, I know Keenan Allen's still good in the red zone. I want more Roma Dunze over Keenan Allen these days. I just do. Sure, you get down to the red zone, maybe that's a little bit of a different ball game, but between the 20s, give me more Roma Dunze. That's a side note for me. Key number 3, Jack.
Yeah, really quickly, just going off of that. Eh, I don't know if it is like partially what I was just saying about the Everett Komet situation and what the schemes are and what Waldron is calling and drawing up and having Caleb look at necessarily. So I don't know if it's like, hey, these are your reads, and if other guys are open, obviously Caleb should throw them the ball. If he sees someone open, throw it. I love it, but it seems like Roma Dunze's open a lot, and maybe he is just the fourth guy in the progression, and Caleb just doesn't get to him because he's ripping it somewhere else. Which, if that's the case, fine. But I don't know. I don't know if Caleb's missing him. I don't know if Caleb needs to be a little more concentrated on having his eye on his guy. I'm not sure. I agree though that Roma Dunze was a top 10 draft pick. Um, and it hasn't bared out that way. And I don't necessarily know if it's Roma
It's not
Dunze's
Rome's
doing.
fault.
I think
It's not Rome's
I
fault.
think it's
Exactly. You're summing it up great. And honestly, Harrison, Neighbors, and Brian Thomas all look incredible. And that's the class that Odunze's in. When he's out there, he fucking makes really good cuts. He moves very he glides when he steps. He creates separation. He's better than Keenan Allen these days. And honestly, the way DJ Moore's been playing, he might be our best receiver, to be honest, at this point.
yeah, I like you got to get him the ball, give him his
Yeah.
opportunities. Similar to what we were talking about with Komet, I think it's a good point. I think we don't know how well he's been playing from like a play to play basis just because he doesn't get the ball. But I feel like if you're one of those people who goes back and rewatches games or has access to the all 22, or if you're watching film, I think you would see that Roma Dunze is making guys look silly on the defensive side of the ball, and there's some opportunities to be had with him. So we got to start capitalizing on those. Third and final key to get a victory down in Arizona on Sunday. Um, how about you don't give up a motherfucking Hail Mary to lose the football game? All right. If you're up any amount of points and there's 2 seconds left on the clock, how about you play some fucking defense and either knock the ball down? If it gets tipped, go hit somebody. Don't just let them float to the back of the end zone wide ass open. So, key number 3, don't give up a motherfucking Hail Mary.
It's a key. It's a good key. It's a good key. I mean, you give up Hail Marys, you're going to lose a lot of games. But yeah, I like it. All right, so a quick recap. Jack's 3 keys. Start fast, particularly on offense. Let's get Cole Kmet featured a little bit. He could be a great security blanket for our quarterback. Offense just seems to look a little bit better when he's our number one premier tight end there. And number 3, do not give up a motherfucking Hail Mary in the final seconds of the game. Yeah, they do those 3 things and their odds of winning go up significantly. I will say I do like the Bears in this spot. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Maybe I'm just a Bear fan. Um, they've been so bad on the road, but I just feel like they're a little bit of a better team than Arizona. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like we nailed everything last week outside of the Hail Mary. I really do. And it's just, I feel like we know this team. And I think just knowing this team, unless the coaches cost them the game, I think which has proven to be a legitimate factor. You can maybe add that as key number 4. Coaches don't cost them the fucking game. Um, if the coaches don't cost them the game, I like the Bears in this spot. Am I an idiot, Jack?
I don't think so. I think, the only thing anyone who's not a Bears fan, not Homer at all mentality would tell you is, they don't win on the road.
Yeah.
And that's the fairest criticism. The fairest way you would break down any argument like for the Bears is simply that 3-17. You haven't won a road game on Sunday under this coaching staff. You guys consistently find ways to lose on the road, and that's totally valid. But you got to get over it at some point. Why not this weekend? I think it's a great chance. Arizona's played well, and Arizona's had a tough schedule, so they're battle tested. I just think Kyler Murray over the course of his career, granted, it's always been under different coaching staff, so maybe that's partially the reason. But he's always gotten right about to this point in the season, MVP type candidate, and then there's a regression. It's consistent year over year. Every season he's been in the league, it's always happened that way. Hopefully that continues this year and starts tomorrow. Uh, but yeah, I think the Bears can certainly win this game. I think they can do it because of their defense, and how stout that they've been. A lot of injuries, obviously. I'm a little worried about that, and I'm a little worried about the offensive line. But the offensive line's been helter skelter all year anyway. Maybe it ends up being a better thing because I don't really know if I don't think Braxton Jones is that good, anyways. So maybe there's some things that are addition by subtraction type mentality, but I don't know. I think the Bears are the more desperate team. I think they gotta be hungry coming off the way that game ended. I mean, you know how it is as an athlete. Anytime you lose in general, or have, even if you win and don't play well, or, you were a wrestler, if you beat somebody who's a scrub, but you didn't tech him or something, you're like, I want to go out there and kill somebody. I'm sure that's how everyone in that locker room's feeling. They're dying to get on that field. I don't see why they can't go out and get it done. But yeah, like we said, the only the very fair, valid argument is that they don't win on the road, so it's tough to bet on them that way.
Yeah, absolute valid point. All right, score predictions. I'm picking Bears to win. I know I'm an idiot. I know they don't win on the road. I'm picking Bears to win. I think this is the first time where the defense bends a little bit, though, breaks a little bit, and offense maybe picks them up. I'm gonna go 26, um, 23 Bears.
Tight one. I think this is a game where this defense is good. Um, and I don't know if it's going to be so much because of much like anything to do with a love for Eberflus by any stretch. But I think that this defense has a lot of pride. I
Yeah,
think that they know that they've been the talk of the town in a negative light for the past week. I think they come out vicious, man. I look for that defense to make some plays, maybe get a defensive touchdown, really flip the game. I think they come out like some absolute killers. I see that defense doing some serious damage down in Arizona. I like the Bears to win this one. I'm going to call it 20. Let's go 24-10. I think that defense puts on a show, and really takes care of business.
I'd love to see it. One last point with your Kyler Murray thing, where he gets about this season or this point in the season starts trailing off. I think there is correspondence with Call of Duty release dates, and I think a Call of Duty game did just come out, so we will see if that factors into anything. So that's something else to keep an eye on. Call of Duty release for Kyler Murray here in the recent days. But all right, we'll see how it goes. Daylight's saving time or whatever is in effect. Um, Everybody at home enjoy the game. Like and subscribe. Give Jack a like for his third key of the do not give up a motherfucking Hail Mary. I love it. And if you're new here, watch our best bets video. We went 6-0 last week at the parlay for $50 and just over 2,500, I want to say. So um, if you followed, you yeah padded your bank account nicely. But we'll be back next week with some more videos. Peace.
Bears.